Hey Chris, so I wanted to do a quick check-in summary of your check-in responses for last week. And I do these every other week just so we have enough time to create substantial responses instead of doing it every week. So I just wanted to mention a few things just to be helpful. It's really just to give some feedback, to give some helpful tips, and to celebrate some victories. With everything that you let me know with what's going on. So, okay, this is just to remind you of your macros. It really doesn't mean too much. But, okay, overall energy levels. You'll find more energy if you're truly taking in enough calories, which is fuel, and in relation that also energy is also related to sleep, obviously. And on top of feeling really stressed out, the combination of getting little sleep and feeling super stressed and is going to create even less energy, feeling way less energy just from those reasons alone. But a lot of times our progress can be completely hindered and stop, even though we could be doing all of the right things. It can be completely hindered because we're not giving ourselves enough sleep. We're not giving our bodies enough rest and recovery, which we do need, especially when we're doing workouts and really active throughout the day. We need that recovery sleep to actually create more progress and more fat loss and more recovery overall. So, but the combination of being super stressed out, which I know we all have stress, we all have situations, we all have things that are going on, but trying to maybe perceive it and handle it is all in our progress and all with how we interpret our stress and handle it. But our cortisol levels rise a lot when we feel stressed, and then all the other things happen, like we lose sleep and we're not getting enough, and then we're feeling really lethargic and tired. So it's kind of a snowball effect, and they're all sort of intertwined. But overall, the main thing to take in from all of that is that progress will be hindered if all of these things aren't being worked on and slowly getting better. So try to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. With all of the stressors in your life, well, like I mentioned, we all have them, but really trying to maybe compartmentalize them and keep your goals in sight, keep your why, keep your reason why. Write it on a board, write it in your phone every day, or look at it somewhere, make a post-it. Just remind yourself of these things and just try to do better and better each week with sort of dealing with everything and trying to work towards your goals more. But definitely try to get at least 7 hours of sleep, and try to meditate through the stress a little bit. Try to alleviate it somehow and to compartmentalize it better, because feeling super stressed is going to make your cortisol levels sky high, and it's going to stop progress even if you were doing all of the right things. So sort of once we start to relax a little bit and just feel a little bit more relieved with things, or more organized, and feeling a little less stressed out, it can really, make progress start happening and maximize results just from changing up our cortisol levels, which everything affects our hormones, our sleep, stress, food, everything, exercise affects our hormones. So when those things are sort of leveled out more and where they should be with the stress and the sleep, things will maximize. You will get more results, which that's motivating all in itself. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's just something to sort of think about and try to work on. And we can figure out together how to improve these things, because nobody just does does these things and fixes it overnight. It's something that we are always working on and working at and working towards. So as long as everything's getting better and better, making progress with, that's the main thing. That's the goal. That's a great thing. So yeah, definitely work on getting more sleep first and foremost. And it's so much harder than it sounds, but it's really important. It really is. And I know you were sick, so we kind of had an off week and a half, which that happens. It's a part of our journey. It's a part of our life. We don't ever have the same type of week or day repetitively in a row. Each week is different. Each day is different with our moods, stressors, with our sleep, with our energy, with everything, with how we feel. So many things are different each day. So we just have to take it for what it is and do our best and deal with it and move on to the next day. So it's really good that you're feeling endurance and you're better endurance and feeling stronger. That's what it's all about. You don't want to do a ton of just cardio, calorie burning cardio and try to lose weight and feel like you're just, burning a ton of calories every day. You don't want to just burn calories. You want to utilize and challenge your muscles, because that's what truly creates actual fat loss and metabolic change. So it's really good that your endurance is improving. That means you are putting in efforts, you are challenging yourself, and everything will get better and better as the months go by. You're gonna feel stronger. Your form is gonna get better because you're getting stronger. So a lot of times with form, it's sort of hard to execute because we lack the muscles. We lack the proper muscle to really hold ourselves up and do it right. But as long as we're doing as good as form as we can, even if you do 2 reps as opposed to the 10 full reps that it calls for or whatever it is, that is a million times better than doing 10 crappy reps or 8 to 10 crappy reps that are bad form and everything. So just really try to focus on getting the movement, the control, the form, everything perfect. And if you can only do 1 rep like that, that's all that matters, because you're just going to get better and better from there. But yeah, definitely during cardio workouts, you'll feel yourself lasting longer through and not stopping as much. But definitely stop when you need to. Press pause. I still do it when I need to. Whatever you feel you need to do it, because that's totally fine. So don't ever feel like you have to just keep pushing through the workout and keep your heart rate up way too high when it needs to come down a little bit and your body is feeling way too fatigued. Take a 2-minute break and press pause and come back to it. Totally fine. Yeah, and we all have temptations. We all have things that are around us. We all have snacks that we crave. We all have things that we love and think about. But the more and more you truly execute your health and fitness journey, the more control you feel, as opposed to not feeling in control. You're going to gain more control, but you're also going to start to change the way you think with food. And yes, you should always be having things, you should be able to have things that you enjoy, but it won't be like an everyday thing. Like, oh my gosh, after I eat dinner around 10:30 at night, I always binge, chocolate and chips. Your mindset is gonna change, because you're gonna feel more pride, you're going to feel more accomplished, and you're going to feel more worthy and in control. So when you do have those snacks and treats that you love, you feel more like you're rewarding yourself and that you are in control, and that you don't want to self-sabotage yourself, because it's not even worth it. The after effects aren't worth it. So you're going to switch your mindset and how you start thinking, and really see the bad foods and bad snacks and temptations as really just a reward every now and then, and that you don't need a ton of extra snacks and sweets. But yes, still enjoying your your things that you love, but just fitting it in your day a little bit better. If you choose to have it on like a Tuesday, you really are craving some like a Frosty from Wendy's. That's totally fine, and you can actually plug it into your MyFitnessPal log if you know that that's what you want to get. Like sometimes we randomly eat stuff and it's not planned, but you can plug it in your day, maybe earlier in the day, and see how many, carbs and calories and fats that it took off of your macros. And so you can kind of go through your day and fit it in better, as opposed to not knowing how far over it set you over if it did. Let me keep going through. Yeah. So when you buy stuff at the store, like obviously we always want to have a little snack around and a little treat, something that we love. Like my kids and I, we love the white cheddar Cheetos. And the more you buy something, and we try to eat it in moderation and just not every single day, but just sometimes when you were really craving a snack like that. But the more you buy all of the snacks that you love, the more they're in the house, the more you're going to eat them. So it's harder to resist everything when it's all just sitting there. So try to choose just one or two things that are one of the snacks that you like and that are, an unhealthy snack, which is basically just an empty carb that typically has higher fats in it, like chips, or ice cream, whatever it is. But also try to choose a lower zero fat snack, like licorice is an example. It has no fat in it, but it's a high sugar carb, an empty carb, obviously. There are options like that to think of that won't exceed and get you all of those fats, those empty fats, bad fats, but you're still getting the carb factor, but you're omitting the fats in it. But, every now and then we still have the carbs that have the fats in it too, like ice cream and stuff. But as long as it's not an everyday thing, you can fit it in your week. You can fit it in that day in your macros, and that's totally fine. But yeah, the more you buy everything, all the snacks, the more you're just more opt to eat them because they're just staring at you in the face. So try to just limit it really to just a few things that will be your go-to for your bad snack time. Yeah, and you have been super positive and motivated, which is, it really is a huge part of the process. A lot of times people can have these unrealistic expectations of, I'm going to start working with a coach, I'm going to start training, and, in a month, I hope to shed 20 pounds. And that's not realistic. That's not real. That's not real fat loss. That is a temporary thing that if somebody does that, it's because they've gone to extremes, and it's because it's not being done correctly, and their body composition is actually not changing. Their metabolism is not changing. They're just losing a ton of temporary weight that is going to be gained right back. So the overall goal is to spend at least 3 to 6 months really doing it the right way, because that's going to last you a lifetime, because that is an actual metabolic body compositional change and not a temporary quick fix that really isn't a fix. It's just something that's going to go right back to square one. So great job so far. I can already tell in your pictures that your core looks smaller, and you might not see a whole lot changing on the actual scale for the first 3 months, but you'll see more changes with your endurance, with your strength, and with your measurements and photos. So those things are super important to keep updating, because it will enable you to actually see the progress that you are making, instead of weighing yourself each week and saying, oh my gosh, I only lost a pound. when really that's not the case at all with what's going on. So try to definitely update the measurements in the photos I like to do it every 2 weeks, and no longer than that. So 10 days is ideal, 10 to 14 days, every 10 to 14 days. And I'll always remind you when to do that. So, all right. Okay, so as far as the form goes, with every single person who ever begins any type of workouts, your coordination will be off, your form will be off, but these things will be improving majorly. And it's a slow and steady race. It's not, run your way up to the top and in the meantime you've caused injury and you've caused all these things when the pace is slow and steady. So the stronger you get and the more you do these workouts and the more you actually learn about good form, which is a learned thing, it really is, truly, you're going to do better and better, and you're going to have more and more results, because when you have better form, you actually work the muscles to the maximum that they're supposed to be working. And less injury which is so important. You don't want to tear something or pull something or do anything like that. But I'm going to send you a form video, which should help. But also, always follow the trainer's lead with form. They should usually explain it at some point. But yeah, there are a few form staples that really help, especially you engage your core with everything that you do, every type of movement. So if you're doing, even like a bicep curl or a push-up or a lunge, you engage your core with everything, because it stabilizes you and it controls you and it balances you. So the more you do all of these workouts and do all of your workouts, all the different types and kinds of workouts, you are going to inevitably tighten your core because you're using it with every movement. So the more you do all of your workouts, the stronger and you will feel, and it'll get easier because you're getting stronger and more knowledgeable about all of it. So don't feel discouraged, because it's completely normal and a work in progress, like truly. After a few months, as the months go by, you're just going to get better and better and better. And a lot of people have bad coordination. It's just how it is. But it does get better the stronger you get. Eventually your clothes will start to feel or fit better. But you are very early on in the journey, so just in a few months you'll feel differently, that's for sure. So it's important to really give yourself time, give your body time to do these things, because your body's doing a lot right now, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is happening currently. So vacation April 3rd, okay. Yeah, and as far as your macros, I know you mentioned you get full pretty easily, so I want you to try to get about 1,450 calories and no less than that, because you don't want your body to get used to a low calorie intake, because then that becomes your body's new maintenance, and then you have nowhere to go from there with lowering calories if you wanted to do a deficit, because you're in a deficit right now, but you have to have room to actually go into a deeper deficit at some point. So that's why you want to have a little bit higher calories, especially with the workouts you're doing. You need enough fuel and calories to build muscle and to fuel yourself and sustain everything. So try to eat at least 1,450 calories. And I know it's hard sometimes, but with yesterday's macro assessment, the only thing I would have added in is any type of protein, even if it was a higher fat protein, because you were kind of low on your carbs and you weren't over your fats. So, and you were under your protein, so you could have added in another protein serving of any type, and it would have bumped up your fats and proteins and overall calories, and it would have been perfect. But I know sometimes it's hard, and it's if you feel full, you don't want to eat anymore. But even if you could have added in just a little bit more, it would have been awesome. And a little bit throughout the week adds up to a lot. So that could be with good and bad things. So I know it seems like not a big deal if by just adding in a little bit or doing whatever it is that was just a little bit, but a little bit adds up to a lot by the end of the week and by the end of the month, by the end of the year. So those little efforts and ways of tweaking everything is super important. So, but overall, great job. I feel like we're just getting started. We're just getting into everything, and it truly does take about 3 months to really get the ball rolling on everything with learning more and being more consistent and hitting things on the head better and getting more in routine with everything. So, there's a lot of things that we do during these first 3 months to really get the ball rolling and get acclimated with everything and learning so much and always continuously learning each week about all of it. But okay. So one thing I want you to do is just write down on a Post-it every day what motivates you. What is your reason why? And either look at it every day or rewrite it every day. And it's just a reminder to truly get your mindset going in the right direction. But also every day, try to read 2 to 3 pages in a personal development book. It's going to change your outlook. It's going to change your day. It's going to change your mindset. And it's also going to be teaching you some things in the book that you're reading, some, insightful things that you might not know or realize or need reminders of. So it really is important. Our mind is connected to our body, and our body does not follow what the mind is not helping us do. So little by little, these things will improve. And that's what it's all about. There's no way to just magically change everything overnight. Everything is a work in progress and always will be. So steady, slow, uprising progress is the goal. But yeah, overall, great job. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and send me a donut emoji when you have listened to all of this.